We wrote it for Ty Burrell as Phil. We wrote it for Sofia Vergara. We wrote it for Ed O'Neill was one of 2 choices we had for Jay, and then the rest of them were all people who we hadn't imagined. We had different people in mind. Just because for my process, I like to write with an actor in mind. Even if I don't think I can get that actor, it helps me with a voice. So I made a PowerPoint, like a keynote presentation on my computer, because now it was time to go pitch it. There were 10 characters. That's a lot to keep in mind if you're just talking and trying to lay out this story. And originally, by the way, it was told through the eyes of a Dutch documentary filmmaker. That was a whole little side thing that we did away with eventually. But we made this presentation on a computer that took people through it with pictures of various actors, some of which we ended up with, some were different. And we went around and pitched it to the 3 networks. Not Fox. I had sworn off Fox at that point. Enough. I've run into that brick wall too many times. Let's go fail somewhere new. And NBC said, we love it, but we're already doing 2 shows that are mockumentaries because they had just bought Parks and Rec, and they had The Office. So if you can lose the documentary part, we want it. We said no. CBS, we love it, we want it. And ABC, that's where we saw it from the very beginning. We just it felt right to us. That was a family network. That was the history of that. And I had a good relationship with Steve McPherson from Just Shoot Me days. He was the junior executive on that. And we had a pitch meeting for that because he was leaving town, and so we had a pitch meeting at my agent's house, which was really fortuitous because here it was in this family house that we had this pitch meeting about a family show. And I was showing him the PowerPoint. And he said, well, I love it. What kind of stories do you think you'll tell? And we started talking about some of the stories, and I started conveying the story of when my son I got my son a BB gun, and I said, if you ever shoot anything living, I'm going to shoot you with it. That's our deal. No birds, no animals. I don't want you killing anything. I don't want you shooting any of your friends, and somebody gets hurt. If you shoot anybody, I'm going to shoot you. You're cool with that? Absolutely. One day I'm in the kitchen. I hear his cousin scream. Griffin shot his cousin. It was time to line Griffin up and shoot Griffin. We videotaped that moment because we all thought it was funny. It was plastic, these plastic BBs. They hurt, but they don't do any damage. And we videotaped it, and I said, I started telling that story, and all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute. And I go into my computer, and I have the footage of it. I go, like this, and I play that. Done. We want it. What do? We want this show. So off we went. And we had to write that. Took a while. We saw, Jeff Greenberg, our casting director, saw, I believe, 1,400 people for casting for 10 roles. Chris and I saw, of those, about 400 and something. And of course, in a little bit of nice irony, turns out Mitch and Cam are 2 of the most popular characters on the show, and 2 of the reasons why America loves them so much, or loves the show so much.